Welcome back to the safe room. So I've been putting away my retro collection, packing all the original hardware away, and just been playing on my Steam Deck and Mister. I had a pretty brutal realization. I had to look in the mirror and admit something that most retro collectors don't want to talk about. It wasn't the collecting that I loved. It was the dopamine hit from buying a new piece for the shelf. Let's be real, game collecting is highly rewarding. You're essentially tracking down your childhood memories and displaying them in a shrine dedicated to that nostalgia. You look at it every day and it sparks absolute joy. That part is true. But let's look at what happens 30 days after you finish decorating that shrine. The shiny luster wears off. That rare game that you swore it was your ultimate holy grail suddenly doesn't feel adequate anymore. It just becomes background noise. So what do? You open up your browser, you start scrolling through eBay again, and you're hunting for the next piece for the shelf candy to put on the shelf. Why does this happen? To get an answer that's actually satisfactory, we have to dig a little bit into human psychology. Now, I'm not a psychologist, but this concept of chasing the new and shiny isn't exactly new revelation. It comes down to two things: the reality of how dopamine works and the concept called hedonic adaptation. Hedonic adaptation is basically the human brain's tendency to quickly return to a baseline level of happiness, no matter what happens. You buy the dream car, you get the promotion, you win the lottery even, and in our case, you finally buy that $1,200 pristine copy of Snatcher. For a week, you're on top of the world. Then, your brain adapts. It becomes the new normal. The thrill disappears. You're back to baseline normal. And that ties directly into the dopamine loop. See, most people think dopamine is the reward chemical, but it's not. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It's the motivation chemical. The dopamine rush isn't coming from the completed shrine, even though it feels like it is. The dopamine comes from the hunt. It spikes when you win the eBay auction. It spikes when you check every day to see if the tracking number is finally saying out for delivery. But once that package actually is delivered, once you take it out of the box, once you wipe it down, once you put it in a plastic protector, place it on your shelf, that's the exact moment the dopamine flatlines. The chase is over, and you're just left feeling completely empty again. That, what I'm talking about, is the collector's trap. And the pattern repeats itself over and over and over again until you run out of room in your house or you run out of money. And you realize you haven't actually played a game in months. You've just been shopping for them. And that is exactly why I'm breaking the cycle. I'm downsizing most of my physical media, and I'm forcing myself to stop being a game shrine shopper and go back to being a game-playing gamer. I know I'm not the only one who's fallen into this trap. So let's be honest in the comments. What is the one holy grail game you spent months tracking down, paid top dollar for, and finally getting it, put it on your shelf, and then literally never played it? Confess your sins down below. I want to read them. If this hits home for you, make sure you hit subscribe so we can keep the conversation going. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.